Today is a really special day for me because I have the privilege of interviewing Rudi Haymann, who is a war veteran. He served in the Second World War with the Intelligence Corps, and he flew in from Chile to London. And we're here today in the Military Intelligence Museum, and I'm going to hear about his life in the Intelligence Corps over 75 years ago. And this is a podcast for the National Centre for Military Intelligence. Rudi, thank you. You've come a long way for this interview today. You've come all the way from Chile. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very nice to have been invited to the Corps meeting.
Yes.
After more than 75 years ago.
And you're here.
And I'm still able to assist.
I know, you're incredible. You're a month off your 101st birthday.
Yes.
Of course, you are originally a refugee from Nazi Germany. You had to flee Germany in the age of the Third Reich when Hitler had risen to power. You made it to what was then Palestine, today is Israel, where you enlisted in the British Army. And today I'm really interested in your period in North Africa, because having served behind enemy lines for a while for the British, you transferred to North Africa in 1942. So tell me, what's happening in North Africa? Because you're involved in something very special, aren't you? A special intelligence unit.
Well, what happened was I was a settler in the Jordan Valley, and the war came over to North Africa because the Germans made a landing, and the British Army was being driven out of North Africa to the shores of the Suez Canal. And then a call came up from the new commander of Montgomery, and hundreds, thousands of us felt that was a call they were listening to. So we raised our arms and joined the British Army. By this, it was called the Palestine Regiment. And this, as an infantry soldier, I went to Africa. And after 3 months serving as a soldier in the infantry, an intelligence officer came up and asked me and some more whether we would like to join the Intelligence Corps. So I heard about Intelligence Corps, and I was 21 years old. And I thought that sounds very romantic. So for me, intelligence was related to James Bond, with
course.
6 stars hotels, Italian silk ties, and George's girls. Well, nothing of this never happened.
Of course, yes.
But so we joined the intelligence, and we were given at the beginning about 5 choices of what specialty to work in. And we all of us think about something of 150 more or less who were at least invited to collaborate. First of all, we tried to join the commandos.
Oh, yes.
There was no need for foreign men to be commandos because there were plenty, but was created a special command unit with German uniforms. There were 18 selected. I was not amongst them because I couldn't stand up all the necessities. And they were dropped or landed in boats behind the German lines with one only sorted to kidnap Rommel.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they tried twice and they failed twice.
Yes.
Then came the next arm, that was the parachuters, and about 36 of them, or at least were into this new unit. There was not fighting paratroopers, but spy paratroopers to be dropped behind the German lines in disputed areas. Greece, Yugoslavia,
Yes.
Hungary, Czechoslovakia. I couldn't join this one. I wanted because they were not looking for German speaking. They were
Okay.
looking for East Europe speaking. Then came the third unit, which was the CSDAC, the Combined Service Interrogation Corps, which I joined. But there were two more applications. One was the deciphering of German secret corps, listening to German communication and deciphering them and translating it from German into English. And the last unit was a new unit created in the British Army, was psychological warfare.
Okay,
They were writing German newspapers, leaflets, to wrap over the German lines in order to demoralize. The Germans did the same with us. And I didn't want to last short because I thought it was too much of a desk work.
So you were really hoping for the James Bond career, weren't you? So you were involved with Combined Services Detailed Interrogation Centre, and so tell me, what was your role working for this unit? Because I understand you're an interrogator. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, you were terribly young to be an interrogator.
Yes, I was. We were all young. I was 21, but there was some of 19 years old. The oldest was 26 or 27. But there was no other people ahead.
Yeah.
So the British had to do with what was being offered.
So did you receive training?
No training whatsoever.
No training?
No, I just got a fighting training for 5 weeks before joining the infantry, and that was all. And then we were just asked and divided into those 5 groups and given to the special units. And we came to the first CSDI unit, which was consisting this very moment of 7 officers, British-born officers.
Yes.
And the commander, the colonel, and looking for more. So it was filled up with 12 Palestinians, as we called at this time, because we were citizens of Palestine. And 4 more looking over from New Zealand, from Austria, 1 from the Indian Army, and 1 from the French Foreign Legion. They came too, so we were 16. Those 16 plus the 7 British soldiers made up the SISTIC.
So that was your unit?
That was our unit, plus all the additional stuff as clerks and things like that.
Can you give me an idea of what it was like as an interrogator? I mean, who did you interrogate?
Well, there were prisoners brought to us who were supposed to have interesting knowledge and might give it away or won't give it away. Of course, nobody wanted to give it away. But there was a way of, so there was a camp, the intelligence camp outside of Cairo, and they had built some sort of a 5-star prison camp, something like that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was a small cells for just 2 beds, and nothing else. Yeah, about, let's say, 5 square meters, nothing like that. Yeah, and brought 2 officers, German officers into the cell. Yeah, and on this cell, at the ceiling with the lighting, there was a microphone built in. There was about, let's say, a dozen of this comfortable prison cells and a few interrogation rooms.
Yes.
Interrogation consisted of a small room, very comfortable, with two very comfortable seats and a table with cigarettes and beer.
Oh, yes.
The interrogation was not forced. It was tried to be amicable, yeah, to be friendly.
Charmingly, yes, a chat.
Yeah, in order to, and they be invited. They interrogated the German officer as many beers as he wanted to have, half a dozen or a dozen of cigarettes to make use of this hour. We interrogated him, and we asked him questions, and of course they lied.
They lied, yes.
Oh, everybody lied. Nobody wanted to tell the truth, but that was considered like treason. Yeah, but we knew about it. Never mind. So when the interrogation ended, he went back into his room, and then he told his chap, "Oh, I lied to him everything.
Yes.
The real thing was." And then we listened to the real story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that worked very much. It worked very well.
It's very much like the research that I've done on the British side.
Yes.
It's the same unit, but a unit that was posted to North Africa, isn't it? Listening to the conversations of Hitler's generals and prisoners. That's what we were doing, wasn't it? So did you have any particular prisoners that you remember? Who would stand out for you, or any particular stories?
Well, what happened in Africa, I had the first very impressive practice. 3 weeks after being interrogator, somebody caught a German spy behind British lines.
Oh.
Yeah, dressed as a lieutenant of the British Army. He made a wrong step and stepped on a mine, and that took off his leg. So he was operated.
Oh, yes.
They amputated his leg. And they didn't know yet that he was a spy. So the doctor said, as they do to everything, count, in order to, when the narcosis is going into to being effective, so that they can operate him. So he started to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and fall asleep.
Yes.
So he started counting in English and finished in German. So they called us up and said, "This might be a case for you." Yeah, I was just on duty, so I went to look up this spy, but there was nothing to interrogate him, because he was completely asleep for last those 3 days. So I looked into his bags, and they found that his small personal satchel had a double bottom.
Oh, so it had a false compartment.
Yeah. So we threw off the bottom and found about 16 papers, smalls and bigs, some with drawings, some with intelligence information. It looked like high treason. It was not random notition. So I brought this to my commander and said, "That's what I found." And he said, "Okay, come back in about 2 hours and let me look it through." So he looked it through with people who were more experienced, and they found out that was the work of German spy cell behind our lines.
Wow.
Manned by 16 Egyptian army officers. The Egyptian army was officially an ally but actually was fond of waiting for German victory to liberate them from French and British colonies. And they spied for the Germans.
So these
and
Egyptians...
that was aspiring of 16 officers.
Yeah.
So we took prisoners those 16 officers. And that was one of my first actions. And the colonel of this of our new unit said, "Now listen, young man." He said, "Listen, young man," because we were all very young.
Yes.
So he said, "Listen, young man, in my cell, in my unit, you will be witness of history." So I was 21 years old, and I would be witness of history. So the next day off, I went aboard a small book, notebook, the size of a cigarette box, which kept I putting on actions we did. And I wrote those for 3.5 years. I filled up 4 of these notebooks, who are up to date, the spine of
Yes.
my remembrance, of my memories of those days. And I had to, of those 16, I was charged to interrogate 2 of these officers.
Oh, yes.
I didn't do very well because I was a newcomer. But I put down in my notebook the name of those 2 officers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's all. I forgot about it. 30 years later, a friend of mine from Tel Aviv said, "Have you still your notebooks?" "Yes, I do have." "Look at it, because the new president of Egypt, Anwar Sadat, was our prisoner."
Oh, and you'd interrogated him.
Yeah.
Oh, how incredible. Yeah. So you really were witness to
No,
history.
he was
Yes.
just a lieutenant.
Yeah.
And nobody had forgot about it. That was just about the first 3-4 pages of this notebook, of those memories. But later on, he became president of Egypt. Not only president of Egypt, but 9 years later, he flew to Jerusalem and signed the peace treaty
Yes.
between Israel and Egypt, which lasts up to today.
Yes.
Yeah, 43 years. So that was one of the most...
What do you think was the most important aspect of intelligence that you learned in North Africa? What do you think what was the most important experience for you? What did you learn?
Well, what did I learn? This colonel, or commander, a very nice man, very experienced, he, in another meeting, he said, every intelligence unit in the world is based on 3 pillars. One is the expertise handling of information, very precise, like a Swiss watch. The second is very much more difficult because you're so young, and that's called patience. Yeah, patience to come to hold all the small items to form a puzzle and to revise. And the third one is just lucky strikes, a very lucky moment. You can't know whether it comes up, but it is a pillar of intelligence work.
So the surprise
and this
element,
one was one of
yes.
the pillars
Yeah.
of our intelligence work.
The surprise work.
Yeah.
So amongst your team, you had women working for you or with you?
As interrogators, no.
Not
no.
as interrogators.
No women in actually intelligence work. Not in our unit, but there are other units you had. As they are the famous paratroopers, the 36 Israeli paratroopers who were flown over into German-occupied territories in East Europe, Greece, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Hungary.
Yeah, they were very dangerous
But
missions.
they were I went later on to Greece, but not parachuted, but flown over by a small airplane. And this work of those 36 was to be a liaison between British forces and Russian-occupied territories. But it was clear that all this population knew and lived the Second World War, but they were so much directed that they thought they were the only fighters against Nazi Germany, that Britain and United States didn't much to do it. Yeah. So that was in order to try. They failed completely. Failed completely was wrong.
But important liaison work. Can I take you back to the M room? The M room, we know where the secret listeners were. You were one of the interrogators, but there were teams of secret listeners, and there's been a lot of interest in the work of the secret listeners. Did you ever go into the M room where they were listening?
Well, what we did, actually, it was planned as an interrogation camp, as I just told you. But our commander was ambitious, and he created a new job that was a frontline interrogator. So that was the first time I went into action, not with a rifle, but with nothing. Just to listen, to capture or to interrogate. So recently, 3 minutes before captured German, to find out and to interrogate and find out some important items which might be important to the unit commander, to know how many machine guns they have, whether they have orders to retreat or to fight to the last man, or to custom a bridge until the last German has retired. And all this information give it at the very moment to the unit commander, the fighting unit commander, so that he might improve his action. Yeah. This was very interesting, but consuming. After 3 weeks, you were out completely. You needed another 6 weeks in order to recover.
Yeah, very intense work. My understanding is from reading and from talking to you before that you were transferred from North Africa to Italy. So tell me about Italy. Were you doing the same work in Italy?
When the African campaign ended and British troops prepared for landing in Africa, so our unit was being prepared to accompany the new landing forces in Italy.
Oh, yes, so this is 1943,
Yes, at the end of 43, we, or at least a part of it, went over with the landing troops on the beachhead near Napoli and put up a forward team south of Naples, and that had burned all down to the Monte Cassino battle, which was a complete failure. And in order to improve this bad situation, the British-American troops decided to make a beachhead landing behind the German lines at Anzio and Nettuno, and was one of the 4 intelligence officers to cover this beachhead landing.
Oh, how exciting.
So it was planned, and we were prepared for about 14, 17 days. And that dured 117 days. So it was a complete breakdown. Not complete, because we were not being shifted back to the sea, but we couldn't expand. And we endured 3 months of shelling and that. Well, and after about 90 days of being completely closed, when the winter stopped and the first sun came up, and the surrounding dried up because our tanks couldn't advance, and our cannons and artillery couldn't advance because they all got stuck, and that was all water-filled, swampy, but all swampy. So when the swamp dried up, then we started again. So I came to Rome on the 1st of May, and Rome was now being seen, and we wouldn't know what would happen. And then the Pope put up a system. He spoke to allies and he spoke to the Germans and declared, made a plan which was called Roma Città Aperta, because Rome is the open city.
Oh, yes.
So it was agreed by all that no German soldier will be in Rome after the 4th of June. And no British or Allied soldier were to enter before the 4th of June. So they would meet and save the town.
Yes.
Which happened.
Yes.
It worked out perfectly.
It saved Rome, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the British Army and the American Army pulled up a team of administering Rome for 30 hours by fighting troops who were not used to this. And the administrative union couldn't come in before it. So the first 30 hours were to be administered by fighting units, and this was reinforced by 14 special intelligence teams to occupy and to to administer the town during 30 hours. And I was one of those 14, belonged to one of those 14 commissions. And we came into Rome on the 4th of June at 6 o'clock in the morning, and by about 1:30, I came to the point I was appointed to. There was a commission. Well, let's say it sounds funny. And they were commissioned, first of all, to police headquarters, the prison, the Palazzo Venezia, the prison palace, and the hospital, electricity, water, drinking waters, so that no sabotage might be done in order to and our the slogan was given by Harold Macmillan,
Oh, yes.
who was intelligence commander of Italy.
Yes, of
And
course.
he gave us a small speech, 7 minutes before that, and tell us this is a velvet work. Let's say, never mind how much work it means to you, but we don't want Roman citizens to suffer. We want to show that that's not a very important military target, but it's very important political target. It's the first European town to be liberated, as we called it at this time.
Yeah.
And so it said, do everything so that no harm is coming to it.
Am I right in thinking that you actually crossed paths with Himmler's wife and daughter in Italy? Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, after Rome, there was a big change in intelligence work in Italy. We noticed it because the instruction we gave. It stopped to be military and became later much more politically. Yeah. Or let's say on a big scale, there was no more intelligence about the strength of the units and things like that, but of retiring.
Oh,
And,
yes.
Yeah, so that so in order to guess where Allied, let's say American and British troops might come, and where we might meet with Russians when it comes to those. And then, so there was more interrogation of political or strategic, and so the war came to an end, and we had our headquarters first in Rome and then advanced headquarters in Florence, and this is where, and then had a special forward team near Venice.
Yes.
And this is when the war ended. And suddenly, well, not suddenly, we knew in Italy 5 days before before everybody knew that the war will end, because Wolf, the general of the SS, made advances to the British and American headquarters of rendering. He doesn't want it to be seen as a traitor to render 5 days before the German army quit. But he made a still stand of fighting. So there was 5 days of status quo of no fighting. And we waited until the rendering of the surrender. The surrender of the German army came from Berlin. And when this came in, so the official surrender came in Italy too.
Yes.
But we knew about it.
You already knew. And actually, Wolf, I've worked on his interrogation reports.
And then,
yes.
And at this very moment, at the 8th of May, 1945, then the Germans surrendered officially to our forces. And we were on hand, they said, and were dispatched to assist the army units who took over the prisoners. And I was commissioned to take over the Italian forces who fought with Mussolini, the last Italian force.
Oh, okay.
And
yes.
so I came there and had no show, but was a witness of the rendering of the Italian forces. And when this scenery was over, which lasted about an hour and a half, then the colonel came up and said, "Rudi, take this man down to our headquarters in Florence." And this man was Maresciallo Graziani. See, here are my photos. And suddenly I was an intelligence sergeant. I had to take over as a field marshal of the so I would know what do you say, what do you do? So I had to say something. You know?
Yes.
So I went to him and said, "My name is Rodolfo," because he's called Rodolfo too.
Yeah.
Oh, he said, "It's a very nice name." So at least the ice was broken. And
What about Himmler's wife and daughter?
well, that was a friend of mine, or a chap of mine. He got the order to go to the Swiss border. He took up his jeep and drove to the Swiss border. I took my jeep and took him down to Florence. He went first to the Swiss border and brought him down to Florence because we established a 5-star prison, something like that, in our headquarters in Florence. And then he came up 2-3 hours later after he came up with 2 women. Said, "What about?" Said, "Oh, this is Mrs. Himmler and his daughter." And the Swiss asked us to come, didn't know who to look, that we have 2 prisoners for you. what happened that Himmler, when so everything breaks down, brought his, or sent his wife and his daughter to Switzerland. And the Swiss were very keen about get rid of them. So the very moment the peace was established, they contacted British command and asked to take over those people. We don't want to have them.
So they actually were prisoners.
They
were
were prisoners.
in
They got
Italy
a
with you.
room in our establishment. And a few hours later, everything the same day, came down General SS, General Wolf, the Grey Eminence, the really most important German in the Middle East, and the war criminal.
Yes, he was a war
Yes,
criminal.
he was a war criminal.
Yeah, there are
But he got
proceedings.
away with.
Yeah, he did in the end.
Yeah.
I've worked on some of those.
That was
papers.
some sort of the highlights of our military experience, to have Graziani, to have Himmler, and to have Wolf.
Amazing.
And to have pictures of them.
And for me as a historian, meeting you, because you are a witness to those times. I mean, I've worked on a lot of these files, and they are, of course, names, interesting. I'm piecing together the history, but you've actually witnessed it. So, Rudi, looking back over your life, I mean, it's been absolutely incredible. You had an incredible post-war life that we don't have time to talk about today. But do you have a message for this generation?
Oh, I am not the man to give messages, but I'd say beware of being too soft. Try to develop resistance. Yeah, to develop forces to hard times. If they don't come, very good. But if they do come, that you be prepared for it. That nothing is granted in this life.
Yeah.
That you have always a good time, or everything goes the right way. And you have to develop forces and thoughts and sentiments to resist the hard times.
Rudi, thank you. It's been so special today, really special for me. Thank you so much. And I know the Intelligence Corps has also been so grateful for you to come and visit their museum here. So it's been a wonderful podcast for the National Centre for Military Intelligence. Thank you, Rudi.
Yeah, and thank you for giving me a chance to speak again to intelligence officers or of history, to be a part and share memories of those times.
This has been a production for the National Centre for Military Intelligence. To find out more and to support the NCMI, please visit ncmi.co.uk.